10 out of 10 experiences are rather rare to find in life. And that's especially true of games where any of the multifaceted elements may soil the experience. Games have only gotten more complex and expensive to make in 2024, with the advancements of AI technologies and even larger open worlds, but a lot more can go wrong as a direct result. Our list comprises a somewhat modern collection of gaming's best, spanning across many different consoles and genres. By 10 out of 10, we don't imply the game doesn't have its faults, since no game is perfect. Rather, it's an experience that excels in all of its aspects, despite minor flaws. All of the games here are playable on modern platforms as well, so you have no excuse to not try them out. Here are 15 perfect 10 out of 10 games you need to play. Silent Hill 2 Remake. There was plenty of doubt regarding Bloober Team's ambitious remake plans for Silent Hill 2 leading up to its release, but that doubt quickly turned around when the positive reviews started being posted. Silent Hill 2 Remake successfully translates the unsettling atmosphere of the PS2 original with modern graphics and an updated control scheme to remarkable results. The story and characters are authentic to the original, with the remake doing a phenomenal job recasting the original voices. Bloober successfully remade a cult classic without altering or changing much of what made the original so beloved, placing Silent Hill 2 Remake on the illustrious level that Resident Evil 2 Remake has enjoyed for a while now. Black Myth Wukong. A retelling of China's Journey to the West story done in the style of a Souls-like action-adventure game sounds too good to be true, but Black Myth Wukong more than fulfilled its potential. Calling Black Myth Wukong another Souls-like is somewhat disingenuous, partly because of the streamlined storytelling, but also for its light exploration in favor of intricate boss mechanics. Particularly praiseworthy is Wukong's rewarding progression, where you're constantly unlocking new boss abilities and getting substantially more powerful, something you don't often feel in typical Souls-likes. Elden Ring. Speaking of Souls-likes, Elden Ring is probably one of the very best examples of the genre. The exploration in Elden Ring is second to none, with a gigantic open-world map that slowly unravels as you adventure further along the known edges. Elden Ring truly gives players any kind of experience they wish to have, whether that's in its diverse weapon variety, or in the order one takes down bosses. The huge open world allows the players to go and explore to level up if they're stuck on any especially difficult boss, making Elden Ring one of the most satisfying open-ended From Software games to date, and also one of the most popular, considering the sales numbers and impressive concurrent player count. Resident Evil 2 Remake. Resident Evil 2 was the start of the horror game remake bandwagon, and if they're going to keep being as solid as this, we're here for it. What really makes this a true ground-up remake, unlike the Resident Evil 1 HD remaster, is the modern third-person control scheme. Say goodbye to tank controls, because the accuracy and smoothness exemplified with RE2 Remake is a joy from beginning to end. The remake captured the atmosphere from the original superbly, portraying the Raccoon City Police Department and the city outskirts with more detail and aplomb. It really says a lot when the biggest criticism at launch was how the classic soundtrack was a paid DLC and not anything intrinsic to the game itself. Red Dead Redemption 2. Everyone knew Rockstar could make a great game, but few could have expected just how good Red Dead Redemption 2 would turn out. The ending to Red Dead Redemption 1 has been hailed as one of the all-time greatest in video games, so they had a lot to live up to. And they did that, and more, with the Wild West sequel. The attention to detail across every acre of Red Dead Redemption 2's open-world environment is still one of the most impressive in video games. And the narrative shines with the tremendous voice acting, Hollywood-tier cinematography, and a gripping plot. It's no wonder that GTA 6 has been one of the most highly anticipated games of the decade. Rockstar is simply unparalleled at creating detailed, realistic worlds.
You're a dead man. Morgan?
Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. Uncharted helped define how set-piece movements could be implemented in games with its rollercoaster of a sequel. Among Thieves It's easy to forget how clunky the shooting mechanics were in the first game, since its sequel vastly improved aiming and the third-person cover system. Gone are the flat and repetitive shootouts from the first game as well, with towering vertical trains and adrenaline-filled hotel encounters filling out a more diverse and interesting backdrop for the action this time around. Uncharted 2 still thrills us to this day with its breakneck pacing and fun character banter. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Despite its development roots, The Witcher 3 stands as one of the greatest Western RPGs in gaming. The open world in The Witcher 3 manages to feel natural and lived in, avoiding the bland repetitiveness that other games in the genre fall victim to. Geralt's role as an outcast monster hunter necessitates exploration and roaming, which is made all the more fun through all the great side quests scattered throughout the game. The Witcher 3 has been held as a gold standard for side quests in gaming for nigh on a decade for a good reason. The deftness of the writing and the world building are second to none. You'll rarely find a more engaging RPG than The Witcher 3, and that's a sentiment that still holds true years after its initial release. The Last of Us. There's very few cinematic moments in gaming that can match some of the sequences in The Last of Us. The tense and emotional opening is but a taste of what the rest of the ride offers. What gets me replaying this third-person horror shooter time and time again is the oppressive and raw atmosphere of the whole thing. Its pacing and environments sink its hooks into you similar to games like Half-Life 2. The shooting itself isn't too bad either, with well-designed stealth sequences and strategic encounters against the blind cordyceps zombies. Even with its acclaimed sequel out, I still find myself returning to this gem over and over again. Far Cry 3. Far Cry 3 helped cement the current open-world formula, a template that still holds firm to this very day. And, well, it's for a good reason, since Far Cry 3's flow and gameplay loop confidently addicted players from day one. Far Cry 3 proved that you could have a somewhat flimsy story as long as you have emergent gameplay systems and a fun, chaotic environment to engage with them in. The jungles of the Rook Islands are teeming with dynamic wildlife and an impressive host of NPCs that protect outposts and roam the island. Smashing hang gliders into enemies and blowing up outposts is still a hoot to this day thanks to the timelessness of Far Cry 3's open-world mayhem. Mass Effect 2.
That our place in the universe is more fragile than we'd like to think. That one woman, one very specific woman, might be all that stands between humanity and the greatest threat of our brief existence.
The Reapers.
Good to see your memory's still intact.
If you like well-written characters in games, play Mass Effect 2. BioWare's iconic brand of companion quests reached its zenith with the sequel, with over a dozen party members living aboard your ship and progressing along with you through your journey to stop the alien invasion. It's rare when an RPG's marketed, choice-driven gameplay is actually felt to its full effect, as it is in Mass Effect 2. I'll still never forget managing to kill off my entire squad during the game's final mission, and admittedly reloading a save to keep everyone alive. Because yes, choices actually matter and carry over to the next game. Batman Arkham City. Batman Arkham City is just pure fun, plain and simple. It's also got a phenomenal sense of place with the atmospheric city of Arkham at your disposal. Unlike its more compact predecessor, Arkham City is more open-ended with its sandbox-like environment. Players can hunt the cleverly hidden Riddler trophies, engage with the many different side quests, or progress the main story as they see fit.
I can't do that. I realize it is difficult, Sam, but you need to decide if one life is worth sacrificing to save 1,000.
Don't do this, Alfred.
Batman must save Gotham. I'm sorry, but deep down, you know I'm right.
The cast of characters stretch across Batman lore, and all are expertly voice-acted and portrayed. I like to replay Arkham City and Asylum for their simple yet satisfying combat and strategic stealth gameplay. I mean, who can get sick of gliding towards one of Joker's henchmen for a stealth knockout, then proceeding to take out the rest of the goons with the game's tremendous counter system? Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Whether you're a Final Fantasy VII fan or not, you owe it to yourself to play Rebirth. The production values and amount of content here are staggering, and it's all achieved to honor and capture the original game's essence. Of course, one of the interesting things about Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth is its approach to remaking a familiar game. While Rebirth diverges from the original in several aspects, it also manages to recapture all of the major moments and areas in wonderful 3D detail. All the areas from the middle portion of the original game are scaled up in true open-world fashion in Rebirth, complete with side quests and a gold saucer's worth of minigames to complete. It's hard not to crack a smile while playing Rebirth. The humorous tone and wealth of activities never cease to amaze both classic fans and newcomers alike. Baldurs Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is the ultimate RPG experience in a lot of ways. It's the culmination and realization of decades trying to distill the Dungeons & Dragons experience into a video game. There are so many side stories and instances of branching narratives here that it can be overwhelming. One often feels like it'll take a lifetime to truly see all the content within Baldur's Gate 3. There's so many different ways to play this game that no two runs will ever feel identical, which make it a quintessential role-playing game. The developers crafted an intricate, complex sandbox of an RPG filled with fascinating character stories and quests for fans to come back whenever they feel like they need to get lost in a fantasy world. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Snake Eater unsuccessfully answered the questions that Sons of Liberty left off on while revitalizing enthusiasm for the series as a whole. The cinematography and storyboarding is second to none for a Kojima game, portraying Snake's early campaigns as a Green Beret in the Fox unit. Snake Eater is arguably still the most accessible and fun Kojima project from a purely gameplay standpoint, featuring a dynamic repertoire of gadgets to Sweet Snake's camouflage stealth missions. The character's story and music are second to none, catapulting hopes for the Metal Gear Delta remake sky high. Forza Horizon 5. The Forza Horizon subseries excels in its open-ended arcade driving, and the fifth installment turns that freedom up to a practically limitless degree. Years after its launch, there's well over 800 unique vehicles from classics to supercars to off-roaders. You can customize your cars with liveries and side skirts and also tune them using a streamlined version from Motorsport's vehicle tuning menu. Mexico has proved a fun environment to live out one's driving fantasies, and Forza Horizon 5 offers a seemingly endless amount of events and collectibles to find. It's hard not to like Forza Horizon 5, even if cars are given out like they're candy. Or maybe that's a reason why it's so easy to love. Hey, did you know that we at GamingBolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell. And let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.